Welcome, everyone, to episode 21 of the Golden Squeeze podcast. They say that once you get to 21, that's when you know that you've made it. So we've made it.
Indeed.
We've done it. We can quit. But not until we talk about SmackDown. SmackDown led off with a Queen of the Ring match between Tiffany Time and Bianca Belair, who the IWC created all this heat between the two of them based off a video that Tiffany Stratton had posted. But Bianca already said she didn't care. She was actually there when the video was posted, and she thought it was funny. Let's see.
I did not know that.
Yeah, let's see if that heat translated into their, or the fake heat translated into this match. This was Bianca Belair having a devastating knee injury, but battling all odds to come back and beat Tiffany Time. Some would argue that maybe Tiffany did get in trouble, and that this match might have been a direct result of the video that she posted. Who knows? I don't know. You always say it's a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest? Is that what they say?
Yes.
Well, she just lost to that one-legged man in this contest. But that being said, putting all of that aside and the superhuman feats of Bianca Belair, what did you think of the opening segment to Friday Night SmackDown?
I thought the match itself was good. They gave about 20 minutes to work with.
Yeah, it was time.
Yeah, it was solid. And they worked well together. I definitely think that's a match that should be revisited at some point. And I don't have much of an issue. I wouldn't have had as much of an issue with Tiffany Stratton losing, except the way she lost. Proud. It was a large portion of the crowd was behind Stratton. But also, they were very vocal and seemed very happy that Bianca won, too. So, Bianca's still very over right now. But I'm telling you, I remember that match that she won after supposedly having this knee injury and ended up retaining the title before Io Sky cashed in on her. The crowd was not happy. They get tired of superhuman recoveries, especially against jobbers. It makes it a lot less believable when it happens against Tiffany. Yes, and I know she hasn't been there that long, but still, it makes it a lot less believable against a Tiffany Stratton, and it made it even more unbelievable in that I think was it a triple threat or a fatal four-way? Whichever one, it was a multi-person match that she retained, and the crowd was not happy, clearly. And just when stuff like that happens, day and age, just people don't want to see that. They don't like when, for the most part, when stuff like that happens, especially when it's a storyline or ring story or match storyline injury. And I know some people will be like, oh, well, crowd went nuts when Cody Rhodes did it with a torn pectoral muscle. That was different. That was a guy who knew he had surgery coming, put on a match. They said, hey, it can't get any worse. And they decided to go out there and do it. He was doing it with a safe, reliable worker across the ring in Seth Rollins.
Tell it to Sting.
What?
Tell that to Sting.
No. Even Sting, by his own admission, said that was a move. Sting even said that was a move he's taken tons of time over the course of his career, and no indication that Sting was done differently. And
he's not Bret Hart. He's not just going to go out and blame him. But I digress.
Anyways, over. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Those. Whatever. But Sting, talk to Sting. I think by now, Sting doesn't seem to be somebody that's just going to say something for the sake of, not. I definitely think if there was some wrongdoing there, he would have come out and said, hey, he did it this way, but we talked about it. He was apologetic about it. And, that's a risk you take whenever you go in the ring, but it wasn't like that at all. he made it clear, hey, it's a move I've taken a bunch of times, and there's never been, I've never seen any indication that move was done poorly or anything like that. It was an unfortunate accident. Anyways, all that to say, I think that was a different scenario because the crowd's going to get behind that because he's gutting out a legitimate injury for the sake of, hey, these people paid a bunch of money to come and watch the blow off to this feud in a popular gimmick match. But just stuff like this against somebody they're trying to build up and like having her lose clean, I don't like it. I would have rather just lost clean without the whole injury thing. But I mean, and who knows? Even I didn't see the part where Bianca said she didn't have an issue with the video being reshared. I didn't see that, but if that was the case, who knows? Maybe the company still in kind of a backhanded way was like, okay, well, you were going to lose anyways, but now you're going to lose via injury angle and overcoming super or villain odds or something. And I don't know, but
I'd be curious to know whether or not the plan for that match was the same on Friday as it was, let's say, on Monday, before the whole Instagram post. We'll never know.
And you know what, man? But the more I think about it, it probably was. And we'll get to that later, just seeing as who is moving forward in the tournament. And again, I think the plan was always going to be for Nia Jax to be in the final match.
See, when I was watching the Bianca Tiffany match, I was confused as to how they were going to make it so Bianca wasn't fighting Jade. I didn't know, for whatever reason. I wasn't thinking, oh, just be a DQ because she's a babyface, so I didn't think that she would get DQ'd. But we'll get into that later. They found a way around that. I was just surprised, I guess, that they had Jade take an L this early in her career. But it was an L that was via disqualification.
Stop it.
How long did it take for AEW to make her lose?
Stop it. I don't know.
AEW made her Goldberg. I think she started off 70-0.
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she I think she lost like one time when she was in AEW. Her angle was a long undefeated streak. That's how she started off in AEW. So I don't know. Maybe I was naive, but I didn't think they'd make her lose. I mean, look at her. She shouldn't lose. She's physically perfect. I mean, she doesn't have a physical flaw.
Hey, at least they had her take a DQ loss. I mean, you've had Carmelo Hayes lose twice, and who it was two. But your number one pick, first round pick, has already lost clean twice.
Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into both of those things later on. But
wait. But before we leave this match, though, did you see that? Was it a sliding clothesline or something? That move that Tiffany used.
Mm-hmm.
Need to start having her. We knew Bianca, regardless of what the final result of the match ended up being, we knew Bianca was going to kick out of that move. I think they should have that be a secondary finisher. That's a good move.
That is. It looks clean. I mean, she makes it look clean.
Now, granted, that could have been because who was on the receiving end of it too and made it look so good. I know it's a
dance.
Yeah, like CM Punk said, it was always good when he had a dance partner like John Cena across from him. So I mean, that could be the case with Bianca, but a good looking move. And I very well think that that could be something to go along with, like, some of them have those secondary moves. Becky's got two, Charlotte's got two, and I think that is a very believable, because she's got she's not a small girl. Tiffany
No,
Stratton's not small, so I mean it'd be different. Like somebody the size of Candice LeRae doing that, obviously it wouldn't be as believable. But
nothing she does is
oh,
believable.
I knew it. I knew that was a poor example to use, but you know, and okay, let me give a better one. Even Sasha, Mercedes Monet, somebody like size, it's not as believable. But when you got you know a gymnast like big girl and Stratton doing that, and big and strong. Obviously, she's a she's a specimen.
Only body positivity here.
Yeah, I mean, not, and maybe not quite size like of Jade or Bianca, but she's still a big, strong girl.
Yeah,
And so her using a move like that is very, very believable. And I don't think she's used that before. I haven't seen that.
I don't recall that.
And it was a good move though, and I hope and if it's not a secondary finisher, I definitely think it's a good. Well, assuming she stops going for the pin with it, I think it would definitely be a good setup move for the prettiest moonsault ever.
Yeah, I agree.
But that was a good match. But again, and one could argue Bianca's such a physical specimen and such a strong individual that even hobbled on one leg, it's feasible to do that move. But still, Tiffany's not a small girl.
Yeah,
So just a little bothersome, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, I still think Tiffany's winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, so none of this is going to matter. So
we shall see.
oh
We
no,
shall
it's
see.
happening. You can.
That's the main prize. That's the main prize. And our fact checkers looked it up. It was 16-0 for Jade Cargill in AEW.
Oh.
So she started off 16-0.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did like Tiffany's backstage tantrum. She's like, "Oh, if I'm not going to be a queen, oh." that was funny. So.
I'll tell you what else is funny. Some of the antics of the next segment, when there was a backstage between with the bloodline, and we got to hear some interesting noises coming from Tama Tonga. I don't even know what it was. Whatever it was, it should never have happened. So we thought that Solo was having issues on the mic. He wasn't even on the mic, and Tama Tonga was having issues. That should never have happened. I don't know who greenlighted whatever it was that he was doing, but unless they're going to have an angle with him not being able to speak, that should never happen.
It reminded me of like the noise a Wolverine would make on one of these like animal documentary shows, like kind of high pitched, like that ferocious high pitched thing. And I don't know if that's what they were going for or something like that. But it also kind of reminded me. You've seen that movie Critters with the things that roll around and they shoot the spines out, the old campy horror film from the 80s, a cult classic. But
yeah, that was Tama Tonga and the rest of the bloodline, I guess.
Yeah, look up Critters later if you need a refresher. But but
absolutely weird.
Yeah, it was. But hey, Solo, his lines didn't sound quite as forced this week. I will say that in his speaking
not as
parts,
forced, but
not
his
as
cadence
forced,
still wasn't what you want it to be. From the guy who now is talking directly to Roman Reigns, and
well, yes, and the fact that I'm supposed to believe that Paul Heyman hasn't found somebody within the entire wrestling community to confirm whether or not he's talking to him or not is a little unbelievable as some of these superhuman baby faces overcoming the odds. It's about as believable as that.
I believe it. I believe everything.
I know you do.
Comes out of their mouths. But it segued into a match between LA Knight and Solo Sikoa, and I'm sorry, Tama Tonga. My apologies. I gotta get my new bloodline. There's so many new ones. I don't know. Tama Tonga and LA Knight, and a bloodline member actually got a win. So congrats on them
by by some heel like moves with Solo jumping up on the apron and up on the apron in his suit that I can only imagine he got from Suge Knight's estate sale.
He got it from Men's Warehouse,
Uh,
their sponsor. Just ask Michael Cole.
Oh no, that was a Suge Knight suit special right there. But and that tells me that they do still have future plans for Knight. His past couple of losses have not been clean. His loss to AJ, had the eye rake before he lost, and then this one, had the clear distraction. And man, what I don't like how you're a wrestler and you've got a finishing move. I don't care if we've never seen it before in this company. You got to know the name of it, or they got to tell you the name of it. And like Corey Graves, like, hey, nothing pretty about that. Just, good old fashioned smashing your face into the canvas. Okay. But what the result of this match was going to be, the move's got to have a name.
Mm-hmm.
And why aren't they saying it? I just, little things like that irk me, because it's not the first time they've done that. And I don't, I think they did that with the first time that Daniel Bryan used running knee. It was at a pay-per-view. He beat John Cena at SummerSlam and was just surprised that move won. And something like that, you've got to say, oh, John's been working on a new finishing move, or oh, Daniel Bryan calls that the such and such, to go along with the yes lock. It's like just stuff like that. You've got to tell us what the name of the move is.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that they could do, the announcers could do, that they don't. I mean, we talk a lot about people kicking out of finishers, and I've said this numerous times. The announcers could say, oh, he didn't get all of it. Even just saying that can protect the person's finisher, but they don't do that anymore. They used to do that all the time. Especially with Shawn Michaels. If Sweet Chin Music wasn't going to win, they would say, he didn't get all of it, or something along those lines. All the time they used to do that. They don't do it anymore.
But with that, I agree. In this case, though, that's not. You got to tell the announce team what the finishing move is, and I don't think that happened.
They know. They have to know.
But no, that could be something. If he used that move in New Japan, they may not want to use whatever the finisher's name was in New Japan. But still, you have to. You're going to use that backstage. It's like, okay, guys, y'all have got till next Friday's run through, or whatever they do. Come up with a name, and if not, we're going to call it this for the time being. And just so the announce team has something to say. But I have a hard time if they knew the name of it and just forgot to say it. I mean, Barrett and Corey Graves have been doing this too long to not, if there was a name for it, one of them would have said it, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyways, I mean, and nothing wrong with the finisher. Hey, smashing somebody's head into the canvas, hey, that works for me. I mean, it's believable.
Yeah, especially for a man who can't speak. That's definitely a believable finishing move for him.
Yeah.
me smash face.
And moves like that too, I like, because even like a guy smaller, like going against like bigger guys like Randy Orton or whoever he faces down the line, it's believable that move could be used on anybody of any size, and I like that. But I think they protected Knight because there was a lot of distraction, a lot of bloodline shenanigans, and him having to basically 3-on-1 essentially.
Yeah.
And so they're protecting him, and I think we already know what his next feud is going to be. There's no doubt in my mind that backstage stare down him and Logan Paul was a throwaway. And if there's one person that is over enough for them to have beat Logan Paul in his hometown at SummerSlam, that's the guy to do it.
Well, I mean, Logan Paul gets booed, so I think that anybody. I mean, he gets a heel treatment. He doesn't get cheered. I mean, I think anyone could beat him in his hometown. They'd probably be fine with it.
But
Most people
especially
don't
him.
want to like him.
I know that, but just sometimes, man, it's one of those things. Inevitably, just certain places you go, even the bad guy's going to get cheered.
That's true. But it
case
is
in
Cleveland.
point, Bret Hart, when he was full out heel, he goes to Canada, he's getting the on treatment. Him, Owen, all those guys got that.
Man,
it's just one of those things.
Canada's not Cleveland.
Yeah, that is true. But I think that's your next champion, which also leads me to believe he will not be winning Money in the Bank.
Yeah, no, he's not going to win Money in the Bank. I don't think he's as over as he used to be. I think his catchphrases are still over, but I don't know if he's still as over as he used to be. Yeah. I think the crowd still likes him. They still want him to win, but
yeah,
now he's just hot as opposed to red hot. Maybe I'm
and
wrong.
Who knows? I think good with the U.S. title.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah. It's a good title for him.
Yeah, I think so. But also, if they did decide to the briefcase, which I don't think they're going to do, like I've said times, I think that briefcase is more for a heel. It's better suited for a heel.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was a throwaway thing.
You're probably right. That's a good next feud for Mr. Knight. I think that works. I think that works. But what doesn't work for me was next up we had a contract signing, and I did not like this segment.
This was weird.
The way that WWE, I feel as if, and maybe they explain this because I wasn't giving it my undivided attention. I think I was, but maybe I wasn't. Sometimes
I just watched it, so I may be able to help with this.
Well, here's my issue. They clearly said it was going to be a title for title match when this match was announced.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then he just comes in and then he just says, whoa, I never agreed to put my title on the line. He did agree.
And that was addressed. And because he tore up the contract
Go ahead.
No, he tore up that contract, and then Nick Aldis said, "Hey, no, this contract was the one that we discussed. You agreed to it. Your lawyer was there. Y'all all know that is what was agreed to."
No. I understand that. I'm confused by Logan, but that still doesn't answer why Logan Paul would say that when the week before he said, "I'm going to put my title up." Did they give an explanation? Like, he didn't say, "I changed my mind."
I didn't know. I forgot that he said that. If that was the case, okay.
They were in the ring with Cody, and they said it was going to be. He said, "We're going to make this title for title." He said that, and then the next week he says, "Well, I did not agree to this," and so I understand that Aldis might have called him out and said, "This is what you agreed to." I'm just confused as to why Logan Paul would say he didn't say that. Like,
maybe they called an audible. Maybe they didn't want.
Well, because they did the right thing by doing this, because they put Cody into a corner of, like we talked about last week, turning into Super Cena, and
yes,
or even Roman Reigns a year ago when he had like every title. So they're protecting Cody by doing this, and it's the right decision.
And even more so, maybe, and yes, absolutely the Super Cena thing, but also I think that into an issue of, okay, if he doesn't put the main title up for grabs every Friday, but if he does, like Cena or Edge in AEW constantly does an open challenge for that title, then it's like, okay, do you really want to have your champion take a clean pinfall loss to lose a secondary title? Because at the end of the day, a loss is a loss. And it's like, regardless of what title it's for, do you want to have your main title champion taking a clean pinfall loss on Friday Night SmackDown?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
one thing I will say is John Cena, Cody Rhodes is not. And I just feel like a Cody Rhodes open challenge is different than a John Cena one, just based off of the stature and of John Cena and his strength and all that. I don't know. A guy like Cody, I don't really feel an open challenge for him. I liked it with Cena. I just don't know how I would feel about it for Cody Rhodes.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I think that in a lot of his things, he's talked about being a fighting champion, and Nick Aldis has talked about, hey, I knew you were going to be a fighting champion, and it just I could see him referencing Cena, like,
Yeah.
hey, like others before me, I'm going to do it this way and defend this regularly and give people opportunities, and I could just see them doing that just because of his current character.
Mm-hmm.
But and again, I know they're doing like some of this behind the curtain stuff for WrestleMania, and I wish like a few months after the fact, like certain things like that were just kind of head scratching. Like, wait a second, they just said a week ago this was going to happen, and now they did this. If it was just tended the whole time to just make Logan Paul more of a Weasley heel, or if it was because, okay, after we thought about it, we don't think that's the best plan going forward, and this is how we're going to correct it. But that little entourage of that attorney, oh, that was some.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous group of people that came out with.
Is that a
With
real
Logan.
attorney? I meant to look it up.
I'm
But
sure it's not.
he gave like a full name and everything.
I'm sure that's a fake name. It's
I'll bet.
probably some. I don't even know who that might be. It's not. It's not going to be an NXT person, obviously.
Oh,
So who knows who it's going to be?
and dude, and something I had to rewind because when I saw it, I was at first I was like, oh my, I was like, I understand being a member of a heel's entourage, but you may have just taken it a bit too far. When they were coming to the ring, one of Logan Paul's crew faked like he was going to give somebody at the guardrail with Down syndrome. I thought he did the fake out, handing him a bottle of Prime and then snatched it back. And I was like, oh my, I was like, that's a little much. I rewound it and he in fact gave him the bottle of Prime. But at first when I saw the guy, the fan and the crowd like turning away, I thought his hands were empty. And I was like, come on, dude. I was like, I know you're playing up a heel character, but that's a bit much.
Yeah,
but he did hand it to him, and I was like, oh. And I had to rewind, and I was like, oh no, because at first I was like, oh, I was like, I don't think he'll be part of another Logan Paul segment again if that just happened. But
I'm gonna go back and watch it. That's funny.
I was like, oh no. But no, he did. He gave the fan the bottle of Prime, and I was like, okay, thank God.
Well, this segment ended, and then another segment began between Jade Cargill and Nia Jax for another Queen of the Ring exhibition. And Jade Cargill suffered her first loss under the WWE umbrella with a disqualification against Nia Jax, and we talked about this earlier, starting off 16-0 in AEW, starting off, I don't know, 5 or 6-0 in WWE, and then taking this loss. And I know that you don't think it hurts because she got DQ'd. I think this means that she's turning heel, not today, but somewhere down the road. I'll tell you why. Why do they have her in the Queen of the Ring tournament unless this is going to set up a heel turn? Why have her lose to Nia Jackson? Why risk that exposure of her losing in the Queen of the Ring tournament unless it's going to lead to something later on? That's the only reason why I think this is going to lead to a heel turn later on. My guess is maybe Bianca wins Queen of the Ring, gets a little bit too big for her britches. She doesn't like it seeing her queen, gets jealous, and then turns on Bianca. Because obviously that's going to break up at some point in time. But I don't know why you put her in the Queen of the Ring tournament and she's not going to win. She's your most prized female possession, I think, right now. She's the biggest attraction. At least they are presenting her to be the biggest attraction. Look at her entrance. Her entrance is just insane. I don't understand the loss. I just don't. And I know that the loss makes sense given the way she lost. But I just don't know why you have her lose unless she's going to turn heel later on down the road. You shouldn't have. There's no reason to put her in the Queen of the Ring tournament.
Well, the way they did it, I don't
have a problem with her losing. I just don't know why they had her in the tournament. I don't know why you put her in the Queen of the Ring tournament. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know. Just to boost TV ratings, tournament, and
just give her a singles match against someone. It's not like they didn't have singles matches.
Just a little taste, a little tease, like, oh, is she gonna face Bianca, or what's gonna happen? I don't know, and I mean, I don't know, but what though, compared to the treatment that she took that loss compared to better wrestlers, the way they've been presented since the draft, I still think they've done better by her than they did with Hayes or Dragunov.
Well, Carmelo Hayes is he's a loser. He's just not going to go anywhere in the WWE.
Oh, stop
I'm just letting you know that right now.
No,
okay, not going anywhere.
Okay,
dead or rival.
Absolutely not. That is not true. And I'll tell you right now, we were talking about Money in the Bank earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him the briefcase. You think you think they present? Why would they? Everything has a reason. Everything is more long-term related than it was previously. There is a reason he was one of their first-round picks, period. You know that as well as I do. Regardless of your personal opinions about him.
I don't have any personal opinions on the fact that he's just too small to be successful, in my opinion.
But they obviously don't think so.
Well, then maybe they will have him win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he can use that briefcase as a small little home. He can fit inside that briefcase, and he can live there because that's how small he is. It's perfect size for him, like a little bed. That's where he's going to go.
He's the same size as Tama Tonga. I'm griping about him.
Because Tama Tonga looks menacing. He's got I guess they both have great physiques. But I will be griping about Tama Tonga in about a week or two more. I don't know. I haven't seen him enough. I've seen Carmelo.
I like Tama Tonga. I like Carmelo Hayes in the ring, too. I like them both.
Well, here's my issue. If they keep having Tama Tonga grunt, I can't like him anymore. If they keep presenting him the way that they are presenting him, I can't get on board with that. That was a ridiculous thing that he did in that backstage segment, the way that he was grunting like that. It was confusing. It left me bewildered. I didn't know what was going on, and I still don't know what's going on. And damn it, I still don't know what MFT means. So here we are. They're presenting him terribly. They're not giving any explanations, and he's just grunting. You know, I may be griping about him soon. I just need a little bit more time before I gripe. Give me some time. I want to like him. Just give me some time.
But the thing about, unless she's turning heel with Jade, the only reason I don't know if this instance I feel that way, because not had Jade's daughter at ringside and Nia telling her your mom sucks, and you know, her being upset about that, and then snatching the chair and already being angry about her confronting her daughter. But with that, I think they could write that off as heated. You know, she was already heated because of that, and then she tried to hit her with a chair, and quite frankly, I don't in a situation like that, when a heel is about to hit a babyface with a chair, I don't have a problem with the babyface using said chair against heel.
Yeah, but then it just makes the babyface look stupid.
Oh, it makes him look human. I mean, it's natural.
We're not supposed to. Babyfaces aren't supposed to be human.
No, well, as seen by Bianca beating Tiffy with one leg. Yes, exactly. That's fair. That is fair.
Or Sami Zayn against Gunther at WrestleMania.
Stop. Oh, God. And I thought about that earlier today, and I got angry, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let it bother me anymore. But now hearing it again,
There was nothing human about what Sami Zayn did. It was... Or even Cody Rhodes. That wasn't human either. Like, there's nothing human going on with these baby faces in WWE these days.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, no, the kicking out of the combined Samoa Spike and Spear, that was...
Yeah.
They should have not had that happen. Everything else would have been acceptable. Or they've had they should have had Cena's entry music hit during the 3 count. Been acceptable. Because it wouldn't have been a kick out. It would have been the ref foolishly not counting. And that happens all the time.
Fair enough. So, fair enough.
But anyways, oh, God, get mad again.
All right, well, Jade took an L. Nia got the win. She's advancing. And next we got DIY versus Angel Humberto in some good old-fashioned tag team wrestling.
I think it's just Angel. I think we've been through this before.
I just think it's the white man trying to...
The announcers call him Angel.
A British guy and the other guy.
I think both of them are capable of saying "on hell" if that's how he pronounces it.
Well, here's the thing: he's Spanish, and at no point in time would a Spanish person ever say "angel." So it's on hell to me, and it's going to stay on hell because I am confident that's what he would call himself.
Did you major in Hispanic studies in college? I didn't think so.
See, all right. Anyways, DIY.
It was a good match. I enjoyed it.
DIY guys are good. Fought Angel Humberto. And yeah, I don't really need any more of Legado del Fantasma. But
now if they're going to have him keep losing, I think it's a good faction. And
time to disband and fight each other or something because I don't need them losing everybody else.
Especially when you've got the numbers game. They're going to have them lose clean. Don't have the rest of them come down to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But
yeah,
I mean, they're heels. Use heel ways to win. But I guess this DIY maybe tension is non-existent anymore because remember, Ciampa wouldn't shake hands with Miz and Truth after they lost. I guess that was just a frustration thing, and because they both seemed on the same page with each other. But yeah, no, it was I think they're wasting Legado del Fantasma unless they have other plans for him. We'll see. I mean, there's still plenty of time and plenty of things to do between now and SummerSlam or whatever major event they could possibly have something happen. But DIY is a great tag team, and those four put on a good match. So we'll see what was next.
What's next is also what was last, because now it's time for Randolph, Keith, Orton, Carmelo Anthony Hayes, in a one-on-one King of the Ring qualifier match, quarterfinal match. And I know that you have issues with the result of this match, which is perfectly fine. Or I don't necessarily think you have issues with the result of the match, but you have issues with Carmelo Hayes being in a position to lose. I guess.
I understand showcasing him because he's a great talent, but it's like you make such a big deal about drafting him in the first round, and the whole shtick of, hey, you want to do that against Cody Rhodes, the champion, when the first night he gets drafted. Hey, I get that. I mean, that at least to me, that's a little more acceptable. But now it's like, oh, great show. If you keep doing that over and over and you're still taking losses, that shtick gets old after a while. I mean, not after a while, very quickly.
Yeah.
And
just ask Spurs fans with Wembanyama. First pick in the draft, just losing and losing. The NBA just keeps having them lose and lose.
Well, no. And again, I thought the plan behind that was to draft Caitlin Clark, and they dropped the ball with that one.
I don't know if they did. Caitlin Clark, I think, leads the WNBA in turnovers after the first week.
Oh, stop it.
It's not even close.
She'll be all right. She'll be all right. But Carmelo Hayes, man, when he slapped Orton on the back of the head, that was amazing.
Now, I will say this about Carmelo Hayes. Very good sell of the RKO. I like that. I will say this. I did have an issue with Randy taking his time to pin Hayes. I took exception to that.
I did too.
And I looked at the time and I was like, maybe they'll have him kick out. And if he had kicked out, it would have been acceptable because it took him like 15 seconds to get the pin. I never like when people do their finisher and then they delay the pin because I think it makes the other person look a little weak. But, they did that. Randy took his time. He got the win. I just wish Randy had gotten the pin a little bit quicker, so it didn't make Carmelo look a little weak.
I mean, the flip side of that, though, man, I could see, especially like an RKO out of nowhere from an aerial attempt at a move. I think it's perfectly acceptable for somebody to not kick out in a 10-second range. It was about 10 seconds, I'd say.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with it either. I
Now, if
just
it
don't.
was just a regular one, like him catching him standing, yeah, maybe so. But the fact that he hit it from an aerial move counter, a little more. I don't know. To me, it seems a little more. Would have a little bit more of a devastating effect that they were going for. But yeah, and I don't know
I
if that
get
was
it,
kind
but
of like a. But part of me won't. I mean, Randy Orton's, I'm sure, has kind of that old school mentality. And I don't want to say going into business for himself, but hey, if he wants to haze, pun intended, haze the rookie a little bit, I mean, that's harmless. I mean, it was a.
I don't know if it's harmless. I think it can make you look weak.
Nah.
But I guess most people aren't analyzing it like you or I might.
Yeah. But no, because I thought that too. I was like, man, he's taking his sweet time. But I immediately thought, I was like, this is Randy Orton having fun with the new guy. I mean, that's exactly what I thought. So
when you say harmless, I don't know if it's harmless.
I think it is. Because either way, he was going to lose.
I know, but if he could get a kick out, it makes him look a little bit stronger, and then you can explain.
But they're not going to have him knowing that. Now, if this would have been the final, if this would have been the match to determine the king of the ring, did that just being cocky and Melo kicked out, that's different. They're not going to have Melo kick out on a Friday night SmackDown.
Well, they should.
But you knew they weren't going to. I agree. I thought that was a little weird, but I wish that would be like this and the contract signing, that finish in the contract signing, and whether or not the Bianca leg injury was always going to be an angle in that match, or if that was kind of a don't you ever do something like that again to Tiffany Stratton as a result of the video being posted.
Mm-hmm.
Those are three things from this episode that I wish like every few months they came out and said, hey, we've gotten questions about this, and so this is what happened. And but again, we'll probably never know. But yeah, and that's just three things from one episode that I'm already very curious about. And also another thing about that contract signing, like this comes off as a very believable authority figure, this part.
Mm-hmm.
But when Cody's like, hey, I've got this, I can handle this. I know he's the champion, but still, like it kind of diminishes the authority of the GM in that situation. Now, granted, I know Cody wasn't doing it like in a bad way, just let him know, hey, I'll handle this, because he could tell he was getting worked up. He's like, I've seen what you do when you get angry, and trying to get him calmed down and saying he could handle it. I get that, but I think that something very easily is like, you know what, you agreed to something, so if Cody decides that he doesn't want to agree to these terms, something like you're being stripped of the title, or else you're being yanked from the main event of a major event, and which would be a big blow to Paul's ego, and that would have been easy to play into. And then Cody could have said, hey, I didn't like how he had the GM leave, and I know that's just picking at little things, but I think this is the first time I have not liked the way they presented him as a GM.
Yeah.
But
made him seem like he didn't have control and he was weak.
Again, just minor things. And I still like Nick Aldis. I hope he wrestles again someday. I really do.
Yeah.
We shall see. We shall
see. But that is going to wrap up episode 21 of the Golden Squeeze podcast. If you like what you heard, go ahead and hit that bell icon, like and subscribe, and we will see you when we see you on the Golden Squeeze podcast.